I never thought I'd be the guy writing something like this, but here I am. My name's Jake, and I want to get this off my chest because I feel like I'm drowning in all these emotions I can't quite control. I've been with my wife, Emily, for about 5 years now. We got married right after she finished college, and honestly, I thought we had a good thing going. Sure, every relationship has its ups and downs, but I never suspected anything really serious until recently. We were supposed to be preparing for the birth of our first kid. It was supposed to be a happy time, excited, nervous, all that. Emily was supposed to be glowing, happy, focused on the baby. But she started acting weird. She'd cancel plans last minute, say she was tired or busy, and then I'd find her on her phone late at night, hiding the screen when I'd walk into the room. That was odd enough, but I brushed it off because I didn't want to start an argument over something I didn't fully understand. Things got worse when I started noticing little changes. She'd leave her phone around more often, but then she'd get defensive if I tried to look at it. She'd quickly grab it and put it face down or turn away if I asked who she was texting. I figured maybe she was just trying to keep things private, but I didn't sense anything malicious at first. Still, I felt a weird tension that I couldn't quite put my finger on. Then, one day, I saw her phone lying on the kitchen table when she went to the bathroom. It was unlocked. Without even thinking, I picked it up and started scrolling. It wasn't anything drastic at first, just some Instagram messages, a few texts about baby shower plans, normal stuff. But then I saw a message thread that made my stomach drop. It was from her best friend, Jessica, and the texts weren't about the baby or shopping. They were about something else entirely. The messages were flirty, suggestive, and there were a couple that definitely crossed the line. Emily was talking about how good it felt to escape with Jessica, how she felt alive again, how she was craving more than just friendship. I froze. My heart started pounding like I'd run a marathon. I kept scrolling and saw pictures, some from her Snapchat. I think of her in a hotel room half-dressed with messages saying, "Can't wait to see you tonight and wish I was with you right now." I couldn't believe what I was looking at. My wife, my partner, who's supposed to be carrying my child, was cheating on me with my best friend. I hadn't even confronted her yet and I felt sick. The shock was overwhelming. I mean, how could she do this? During my pregnancy, no less. I felt betrayed, furious, heartbroken all at once. And the worst part, I didn't know if I'd ever really known her at all. Was she always like this? Was I just blind, or was I stupid to trust her? I needed a moment to breathe, so I quietly slid the phone back where I found it and went to sit outside. My mind was racing. I thought about the years we'd shared, the plans we made, the future I'd envisioned. All of it suddenly felt like a lie. I kept asking myself, how long has this been going on? Was she ever really faithful? And how do I even face her now? I knew I had to confront her, but I wasn't ready. Not yet. I stayed outside, staring at nothing, feeling numb. I was supposed to be preparing for a new life with her and our baby, but instead, I was drowning in this realization that everything I thought I knew was a facade. That day marked the beginning of a nightmare I couldn't wake up from. I knew I couldn't pretend anymore, that I had to face the truth and decide what to do next. The question was, how do you recover from seeing your wife, who was supposed to love you and be loyal, cheat behind your back with your best friend during what was supposed to be the happiest, most sacred time of your life? After I saw those messages, everything changed. I couldn't just go back to pretending like nothing was wrong. I needed to confront her, but I didn't want to do it right then and there. I needed a plan, a clear head, and some time to process what I just found out. So I stayed quiet, pretending everything was normal for the next few days, but inside I was boiling. I didn't trust her anymore, and every time she looked at me with that fake smile, I felt like I was about to explode. That night, I finally decided I'd had enough. I waited until she was asleep, then quietly grabbed her phone to look for more evidence, just to be sure. I knew I was crossing a line, but I needed to know how deep this went. I was furious at myself for even doing it, but I couldn't help it. I found more messages, more photos, and even a few voice notes where she was clearly talking dirty, saying things like she wanted sex, missed it, and was planning to meet him again. I read everything with a mix of anger and heartbreak. How could she do this to me? To our unborn child? I stayed up all night, my mind racing. I was angry at her, but also at myself for not seeing it sooner. How could I have missed all the signs? Was I just blind? Or was I naive to think she was different? I kept asking myself whether I should just leave her, cut my losses and walk away, or try to fix this somehow. But honestly, I knew deep down I couldn't stay with her. After all that, not after she betrayed me so badly, especially during my pregnancy when I was supposed to be vulnerable and trusting. The next morning, I decided I'd have to confront her. I couldn't keep pretending. I sat her down in the living room, my heart pounding so loud I thought she could hear it. Her face was already a little defensive, like she sensed I knew. I threw her phone on the table and said, "We need to talk, Emily. I saw the messages. Tell me what the hell is going on." Her reaction, she looked at me with an exaggerated innocence, rolled her eyes and said, "Oh, come on, Jake, it's not what you think. You're overreacting. It's just stupid flirtation, nothing serious." I stared at her, feeling like I'd been hit by a freight train. "That's a lie," I said. "I saw everything, the pictures, the messages. You're cheating on me. During my pregnancy, during a time I should be able to trust you the most. How could you do this?" Her response was a shrug, then a sneer. "Look, I don't owe you explanations. Yeah, I've been talking to him, but it's not like I've been sleeping with him. You're making this bigger than it is. I swear it's just sex talk and I was bored, okay? It doesn't mean anything." That was the moment I realized how much she lied. She was trying to downplay it, act like I was overreacting, but I knew better. I could see it in her eyes. She didn't care about the damage she was doing. That's when I felt the first real stab of despair. How do you fight someone who's willing to lie and deny everything? How do you even look at her after knowing she's been unfaithful, especially during such a fragile time for us? I told her I needed time to think, that I couldn't keep living like this, and I walked out of the room. I felt like I was falling apart inside. I was furious, betrayed, and heartbroken all at once. I couldn't even cry because I was too numb. I was staring at the woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, and I realized I didn't know her at all. How could she do this? How could she lie so easily, so coldly? And worst of all, I had no idea if she was still seeing him, if she would keep doing it. The days that followed were a blur. I kept replaying everything I found, questioning whether I should stay or go. Every time she tried to apologize, I'd shut her down. I didn't trust a word she said anymore. My mind was spinning with all the lies she'd told, all the times she'd looked me in the eye and lied straight to my face. It's like I had been living some illusion, and now the whole thing was shattered. But the thing that hurt the most, the idea that I might never really know who she was this a one-time slip? Had she been lying to me for months? Was she actually capable of loving someone else while carrying my child? Those questions haunted me, and I knew I had to figure out what I wanted, what I could live with, and what was better for me and the baby. I didn't want to be a fool, but I also didn't want to throw away everything we'd built if there was any hope left. I think that's what hurts most, the uncertainty. Not knowing if she's truly remorseful or just sorry she got caught. Not knowing if I can ever trust her again, or if I should just walk away and start fresh. My mind keeps bouncing back to the moment I saw those texts, and I wonder if I'll ever stop feeling this way. All I know now is that nothing will be the same. After that confrontation, I knew I couldn't just sweep everything under the rug and pretend it didn't happen. I spent the next few days trying to process what I'd learned, but honestly, it was almost impossible. Every time I looked at Emily, I saw a stranger. Her fake smile, the way she'd deny everything, her dismissive attitude, everything just made me angrier and more hurt. I kept asking myself if this was just a one-time mistake, or if I'd been naive to think she was ever truly loyal. One night, I came home to find her in the kitchen, pretending to be busy with some quick dinner. I was trying to stay calm, but inside I was boiling. I looked right at her and said, "We need to talk, now." Her expression immediately shifted into that exaggerated, innocent look she always used when she was trying to manipulate a situation. She crossed her arms, rolled her eyes, and said, "Oh, what now? Honestly, Jake, I've had enough of this drama. I told you I was sorry." I didn't bother to hold back. Sorry doesn't cut it anymore. You've been cheating on me, Emily, during my pregnancy with my best friend. How could you lie to my face about something so huge? Her eyes narrowed and she scoffed. You're blowing this way out of proportion. sex talk and you're acting like I'm out there screwing everyone I see. That's not fair, you're just jealous and insecure, it's not like I'm actually sleeping with him. That's when I lost it. You think I'm stupid, you think I don't see what's going on, those messages, those pictures, you're lying, I want the truth now. Are you still seeing him, are you still lying to me? She shrugged, acting nonchalant. Look, I don't have to explain myself to you. I said I was sorry and that should be enough. At that moment, I realized how little she cared about my feelings, about what I was going through. She was just trying to brush everything off, keep her little secrets hidden while I was falling apart inside. I felt a cold wave of rejection and anger. How could she be so callous during what's supposed to be one of the most vulnerable times in our lives? I was supposed to be preparing for a child, imagining a future, and instead, I was questioning everything about her, about us. I told her I needed space, that I was done talking, and I went for a walk outside. I needed to clear my head. The cold air hit my face, but I felt nothing except this deep, gnawing pain in my chest. I was furious at her, disgusted, and somehow also sad. I kept thinking about the moments I'd missed, about how I'd trusted her blindly, and about whether or not there was any real chance of fixing this. Honestly, I didn't see a way forward that didn't involve some kind of absolute heartbreak. Over the next couple of days, I stayed mostly in my room, trying not to think about her or the mess I was in. But of course, she kept trying to come back to talk, to apologize, to make me see she was sorry. But sorry didn't change the fact that she had betrayed me during a time I thought we were building a family, a life. Sorry didn't erase the messages, the photos, or the feeling that I had been living with someone who was capable of lying so effortlessly. My mind kept circling around the question of what to do. Part of me wanted to forgive her, to pretend this whole thing was just a mistake and move on. But another part, the part that was shattered by the betrayal, said I couldn't trust her anymore. The trust was gone and I didn't know how to get it back if I even wanted to. And what about the baby? Was I supposed to raise a child with someone who had lied so blatantly? Or was this all just the tip of the iceberg? I also kept thinking about my best friend, Mark. We'd been friends for years, and I never imagined he'd betray me like this. I was furious at him, too, for crossing that line. But mostly, I was furious at Emily for dragging everyone into this mess. How could she do this to me, to her own future child, to everyone who cared about her? The hardest part was realizing how alone I felt. I had no one I could really talk to about how I was feeling, no one I trusted anymore. It was just me and this overwhelming sense of betrayal. I knew I had to decide eventually whether to try to work things out or cut ties for good. But right now, I was just trying to survive the storm inside my head, trying to keep my emotions in check. I didn't want to fall apart completely, but I felt like I was already there. The days blurred into each other. I tried to focus on the pregnancy, on getting things ready for the baby, but honestly, nothing felt the same anymore. Every breath I took was heavy with doubt and pain. I kept replaying everything I found, trying to find some way to understand how she could do this, how I could have ever trusted her. It's like I was living someone else's nightmare. I kept thinking, this has to be a bad dream, but every morning I woke up it was real. Worse than real. One afternoon, I decided I couldn't keep pretending I was okay. I needed to hear it from her directly. I called her into the living room and told her I was done hiding. I said, look, I want the truth. No more lies. Are you still seeing him? Are you still talking to him? Her eyes darted around and she hesitated for a second before saying, maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Does it honestly matter anymore? That response cut me like a knife. I was stunned. That's not an answer. That's a slap in the face. I looked her dead in the eyes and said, yes, it matters, because I thought I was married to someone I could trust. I thought I was building a family with you, but clearly I was wrong. Her lips curled into a sneer and she spat, you're overreacting. You're just jealous, Jake. You're scared because you're about to be a dad and you don't want to admit you're losing control. That was it, I snapped. I told her I couldn't stay in a relationship with someone who lied so easily, who was capable of cheating on me during the pregnancy that was supposed to make us a family. I told her that I was done, that I was going to leave. She just rolled her eyes and said, whatever, I don't care, you'll come crawling back, you always do. I left the room feeling a mix of rage and despair. I knew I couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. I had to make a choice. And honestly, part of me was ready to walk away for good. I didn't see how I could trust her anymore, not after all she'd done. I didn't know if I even wanted to try. A few hours later, I sat alone in the quiet of the apartment, my mind racing. I was haunted by images of her with him, of the lies, the betrayal. I felt so betrayed, so broken that I wondered if I'd ever recover. The love I thought we shared, the future I'd imagined, all of it felt like it was crumbling right in front of me. I kept asking myself whether I could forgive her, whether I wanted to stay and fight for us, or if I should just walk away and forget about everything. That night I finally broke down and cried for the first time in years. I let everything out, the pain, the confusion, the anger. I wondered if I was making a mistake. Maybe I was overreacting. Maybe I was just hormonal, or maybe I was just afraid of being alone. But deep down, I knew I couldn't pretend anymore. I couldn't keep living in a world where trust was shattered and betrayal lurked behind every smile. As I lay there staring at the ceiling, I realized one thing. I had to decide what I wanted, not just for myself, but for the baby. Because if I stayed with her, I'd be raising a child in a house built on lies. And if I left, I'd be starting over, alone, but maybe finally free from this nightmare. Whatever I chose, I knew one thing: nothing would ever be the same again. That's the thing about betrayal. It changes everything. The next morning, I woke up feeling like I'd been run over by a truck. The weight of everything hit me again, but I knew I couldn't keep going in circles. I had to make a decision. So I sat down with a pen and paper and listed my options: stay, fight, try to forgive, or leave, start over, and protect myself and my unborn kid from the chaos. Honestly, it wasn't a fair fight. Every logical part of me told me to walk away, to cut my losses and focus on my future alone. I took a deep breath and called her. I told Emily I needed to talk. She was defensive from the start, trying to throw blame, acting like I was overreacting, like I was the crazy one. But I didn't care anymore. I laid it out plain and simple. I said, "Look, I know everything. I saw the messages, the photos. I know you're still talking to him. I can't do this anymore. I don't trust you, and I don't think I ever will." Her face twisted in a mix of anger and contempt, and she shot back. "Oh, so now I'm the bad guy. You're just jealous because I don't want to be stuck in some boring marriage with you. Maybe this is what you wanted all along." That's when I snapped. I told her she was a selfish, manipulative liar, and I was done. I told her I was leaving, that I'd find a way to be there for the baby, but I couldn't stay with a woman who cared so little about me. I packed a bag, feeling like I was walking out on everything I believed in, but also feeling a strange sense of relief. It was like a heavy fog had finally lifted, and I could see clearly for the first time. I didn't want to be around her anymore, not after everything. I told her I'd be staying at a friend's place for a while, to give us both space. She tried to guilt me, said I was overreacting, accused me of cheating myself, classic Emily. But I knew better. I knew I couldn't be with someone who was capable of such lies and betrayal. It was over for us, and honestly, I felt almost free for the first time in days. As I walked out the door, I looked back at her standing there with that smug expression, like she was already over it. But I was done. I knew I needed to focus on myself and the baby. I had to rebuild my life, even if it meant starting from nothing. That's when it hit me. I'd been putting her first for too long. It was time to put myself and my child first. Whatever happens next, I promised myself I'd never let someone do this to me again. Now I'm living in this strange limbo. Part of me feels broken, but part of me feels oddly hopeful. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing: I'm never trusting her again. And I'm damn sure not letting her lie or manipulate her way out of this one. It's going to hurt for a while, I can already tell. But I have to believe that I'll come out stronger on the other side. That's what I keep telling myself. This pain is temporary. The real test is what I do with it now. In the days that followed, I've been trying to rebuild my sense of stability. It's not easy, not by a long shot. Every morning I wake up with that gnawing feeling, wondering if I made the right choice. But deep down, I know I can't live in a lie anymore. I can't be with someone who values betrayal over honesty, especially during the most vulnerable time of my life. I've started seeing a counselor. just to process everything, because honestly, I feel like I lost a part of myself in all this chaos. My relationship with Emily is now just a distant memory. We barely speak, and when we do, it's through clenched teeth and cold words. She's still trying to deny what she did, still trying to spin it like I'm the one overreacting or that she's the victim. But I don't buy it. I saw what I saw, and I know the truth. No matter how much she lies, the betrayal is etched into my mind now, and I can't unsee it. The hardest part has been accepting that I may never get the full answers I crave. Did she really love me? Was any of it real? Or was I just fooling myself all this time? I still wrestle with those questions, but I know I can't let them consume me. I have to focus on the future, on my kid, on healing, and on rebuilding what's left of my life. I want to believe that I can come out stronger from this mess, that I can learn to trust again someday, whether in someone else or just in myself. Looking back, I realize I was blind for a long time. I wanted to believe in the best, to see the good in her. But now I see clearly, trust isn't something you can take for granted. It's something earned, something fragile and once broken, nearly impossible to repair if the other person doesn't genuinely want to fix it. I've learned that the hard way. So I'm choosing to move on, not because I want to forget, because I won't, but because I realize I deserve better. I deserve to be with someone who respects me, who values honesty, and who isn't capable of betraying me during one of the most delicate times of my life. I can't change what she did, but I can control how I respond. To anyone reading this who might be going through something similar, all I can say is trust your gut. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Don't dismiss your feelings or make excuses, because in the end, you're the only one who truly cares about your happiness and your peace of mind. No matter how much pain you feel now, it does get better. You just have to be willing to walk away from what's hurting you and start rebuilding from scratch. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I'll get there, one step at a time. And someday, I hope I'll look back on this chapter and see it as the beginning of something stronger, something I built myself on my own terms. Because no betrayal, no matter how deep, can keep you down forever if you're willing to fight for your happiness.